Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Heaven, a necromantic dating sim. Let's go ahead and continue.
So this is gonna hurt a little, but just try to remember all the awful things he said.
You know, I thought you said you were bored of figuring out how to punish me.
Well, once I realized I could do this, I cheered up a little. Besides, I want to use you for some practice before I tattoo those other people.
Classic Lee's, an ulterior motive to everything.
First, I'll draw a little sketch, then I'll start with the needle.
Elise picks up a stylus and begins slowly drawing the petals of the flower. You sigh and watch for a while. After a few minutes, Elise pats you on the chest and stands up.
Hold on, I need to get another tool. Just lay back and relax.
You ease her back down on the bed, prop your hands behind your head and stare at the ceiling. I wonder how long this is going to take. You close your eyes and let your mind drift. A few more minutes pass, then a few more. You hear a quiet ripping sound, like fabric tearing, and the sound of Elise sucking a short, sharp breath. You frown, but you keep your eyes closed. You okay?
Yep, doing fine. Are you... Oh, good, your eyes are closed.
You hear Elise walk back over to you and sit down.
Just keep them closed a little longer.
Wait, what are you doing?
It's a surprise. You'll like it, I promise. Just a little longer.
You feel the sharp sting of a needle and grunt. Damn, that hurts.
Oh, get over it, you big baby.
The stabbing pain continues, moving in an oval-shaped pattern across your skin. That's not the shape of a flower. You open your eyes and lift your head off the bed to look at your chest. Elise, what do you... You stop when you see the bright red color of blood. Lisa's hands are pressed against something like a piece of fabric, and she's stitching it into your flesh. Blood leaks out around the edges and you realize it's not cloth. It's another piece of skin. You can see two darker colored bulges in the flap of skin, and you realize they're lips. It's a mouth.
You weren't supposed to look yet.
When you look up at Elise, your eyes go wide. A clean oval of skin is missing from her face, stretching from one side of her mouth to the other. All that's left is a bloody circle of muscle surrounding clean white teeth and exposed gums. She immediately climbs on top of you, forcing you back down on the bed. You stare up at her face, entranced. She holds a sewing needle above your right eye and speaks in a low voice.
Let me finish. Don't move around or I'm putting this needle in your eye. Once it's done, I'll be a part of you, right?
You nod shakily and shut your eyes again. Elise moves off of you and you begin to feel the sharp stabs in your chest again. The minutes seem to stretch on forever, but eventually you hear Elise stand up and sigh. You crack open an eye and find that Lisa's face is intact again.
Alright, take a look.
You sit up and look down at your chest. The flower sits on a patch of deep red skin surrounded by tiny traces of blood. But it looks beautiful. Wow, you're pretty good. The lines are so smooth.
Oh, you flatterer. But yeah, I think it came out great.
Elise takes a seat on the edge of the bed, and you swing your legs around to join her.
I was inspired by that thing you said about the paper lotus, so I thought a flower would be appropriate.
Oh, so you don't think it's a stupid confidence trick anymore?
I don't know yet. What's important to me is what you thought you saw in it.
What do you mean?
Never mind. I'm still 50-50 on whether it's just a fortune-telling trick.
Well, there's a way to find out.
Oh?
Fold me a lotus and let's play a game of Seeker.
Yeah? You think you can read me like a book? Wouldn't that be cheating if it worked?
You sound like someone who's afraid I'm right. Lise opens her mouth in mock indignation.
You're awfully cocky for someone who's afraid of a little pain. I can put you in a world of hurt.
Come on, play me. And fold your lotus.
Fine, you charlatan.
Lise sets up a board on her bed, as well as the pieces of cards. She rips a piece of paper from a notebook, folds it diagonally, and rips it again so it makes a square. She starts folding the lotus, and you watch her fingers carefully curl and fly on the paper. After a minute or so, she hands you the finished flower.
Alright, try me.
Ah, shit. Let's hope I do good this time. Well, we could try side for guns. Oh, that's her moves, my bad. My choices are Kama or Gunson. So we play Gunson, we have a chance of getting 2. So it's a... But... Let's go down the middle. Sorry, okay. Let's try Kama. No, Kama loses. Let's try overwhelming numbers. So she'll go there, then I can strike. Or maybe not. No, she's gonna strike again. Let's try Gunson again. Go down there. Let's try Kama. Go down there. She was trying to go forward. Go with Gunson again. Okay. And then go with Kama. No, go to the right. And I think there's an opening, so let's go there. Okay, you have a chance. Yeah, I'm bad at that game.
What say you now, Uzo?
I made a couple of critical mistakes, but that's on me, not the lotus.
Oh, please.
Come on, play me again, I'll show you.
No, I think I'll keep my championship title for now.
I'll prove it to you, one of these games.
Well, whatever. Oh, you want to show me something funny?
You want to know something funny, my bad. What?
Remember how I was practicing Seeker to run a scam on some people on his campus?
Yeah?
Well, first off, I did make some money off that, and it was really funny to watch their faces. But when I was practicing, I couldn't, visualize my opponent. I'd played both sides, but since I knew every move I would make, I didn't feel like practicing. And I didn't want to practice with anyone because they might tell people, so I found a new partner.
Ooh. Lise gets up and goes to her wardrobe, then takes out a square cast iron box with a lock on it. She pulls open one of the wardrobe drawers, wheels around the bottom for a second, and pulls out a key stuck in some wax. She opens the padlock on the box and takes something out. You realize it's the head of the flesh statue that you and Lee stole from the Garden of Flesh.
She's a worthy opponent, and I made the mold of her face. I've been waiting for a chance to return her to the garden, but no luck yet.
You've been playing secret with the severed head.
What? No, it's not like it's a dead person's head. She's all artificial.
So you had that head on this bed and you would make moves for it?
Well, I mostly played on my desk, but yeah, it's easy to imagine she was a real opponent.
You shake your head and whistle. You probably shouldn't tell anyone else about that.
Hey, don't look at me like that. It's like playing with a doll head.
That's weird too. Lee scoffs and puts the head back in the box and locks it. She turns around and puts her hands on her hips.
Aren't you working on your own little model body?
Yeah, but I'm not playing games with it.
Whatever. I'm gonna put it back eventually.
Alright, just don't get caught.
Oh, you know me. The picture of subtlety and sneakiness.
Lee sits back down on the other side of the secret board, folding one leg underneath her.
Speaking of which, how's it been going with the whole Tensa situation? Are people still being assholes?
It's died down a little, but I feel like I'm still on edge. Seems like every other day, someone shouts something at me or throws a snowball.
That's rough, buddy. Glad to hear it's dying down, though. Like I said, they'll get bored eventually. Maybe I can put some strings to get people to ease up on you.
No, don't worry about it. It's not worth it. Lee inclines her head, as if she's skeptical.
Really? You sure?
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
See, when you say stuff like that, it makes me wonder. Because before you said you didn't want to live out your entire Itzon career being the butt of everyone's jokes. And you seemed really determined about that.
You shrug. Studying secret made me realize a couple of things. One advantage that real life has over secret is that if you have no good moves available to you, you don't have to make a move. I can't do anything about Tenza right now. All those people making fun of me. But maybe later, I can do something. In the meantime, I might as well try to undo all the damage I did.
All the damage? What else did you do?
I was an asshole to my tutor, and to Izagi.
Oh no, Uzo. Just burning bridges left and right, huh? How did Izaki take it? Did she punch you?
No, though she could have.
Huh. Moment of restraint. Well, you and me.
Lise gets up and sits down next to you. She swings an arm around her shoulder and gives you a slight smile.
I think we're gonna do just fine.
Smile back at her and wrap an arm around her. You embrace Lise tightly, and you feel her press her head against your shoulder. Oops. A week later, you have your first major exam in advanced anatomy. You'd heard that the first one was especially difficult, but as soon as you get your hands on it, your heart sinks. Not only does it review the material you covered in class, it asks you to write out how you'd perform certain types of organ surgery step by step. You realize if you do one step out of order, all the later steps will be wrong too. Fortunately, you have your secret weapon. At the beginning of the test, you roll up your sleeves so you can see your forearms. Throughout the exam, you periodically rub your right arm and allow the heat-activated ink Lise tattooed there to fade into view. Apparently, Lise had done similar tattoo jobs for 3 other students. With your notes on the inside of your arm, you're able to make it through the roughest parts of the review, while your experience with your body helps you make sense of the surgical parts. After 2.5 hours, you turn in your exam booklet and walk out of the classroom, leaving the remaining poor souls to struggle through their tests. You head back to your room to rest, but as soon as you step inside, you find a letter with the official Itzon seal that's been slid under your door. Apparently, you'd forgotten to check your mailbox, because when you open the envelope, you find your grades on the previous semester. You start to read the instructor's comments, but give up halfway throughout as you realize it's all criticism from Itzon. You collapse on your bed, grinning from ear to ear. Once again, you feel vindicated. You spend the next few days shuttling between class, your workshop, Rue's office, Lisa's place, and the dojo. You feel yourself getting into good rhythm, instead of grinding out days and nights solely on studying. You feel like you were living. Then comes a piece of news that sends your spirits soaring.
Did you hear?
What?
Tens has been suspended. He got caught being drunk in class and tried to beat up the person who called him out.
Really? They kicked him out of the school?
No, not expelled, suspended. As in he can't go to class or leave his room until they decide his punishment. I hear it's likely going to be service to the school, which is a polite way of saying he's going to be taking out the trash, cleaning the floors, stuff like that. And of course he'll be getting 2 demerits on his record, so one more strike and he will be kicked out.
That's excellent. I have to find him while he's scrubbing floors so I can watch.
I'll keep an eye out and let you know.
After word spreads that Tenza will be doing menial labor around campus, pranks and mockery about losing Tim dry up. Apparently, Tenza's fall from grace is much more amusing than yours. Soon you even hear rumors that people are making messes in the hopes that Tenza will be the one sent to clean them up, even though it hasn't been confirmed that he is a floor scrubber or a janitor. You go to bed the first few nights after hearing the news, smiling to yourself. Soon after, you attend Rue's next big presentation in one of Itzon's giant amphitheaters. You watch Rue get on stage and present her research, then she addresses the crowd. Oh, this is a background I haven't seen before. Though there are some stutters, Rue presents her work nearly flawlessly from behind her lectern. She uses a few giant chalkboards to show how she assembled and enchanted the flesh, and describes her experience with regenerating from frostbite. At the end of the presentation, it's your turn to stand up. You walk down to the stage, roll up your sleeve, and show everyone your transplanted arm. Rue explains in detail how it's impervious to multiple types of damage, and lays you down on an operating table. In front of the crowd, Rue burns her arm, freezes it, slices it, then pounds it with a hammer. But of course, you're completely numb to all of it. As her arm heals before the audience's eyes, some faculty members stand up and begin applauding. Soon, everyone is on their feet, clapping their hands in a thunderous ovation. You and Rue take a bow, and then the dean approaches to quietly congratulate her. Rue spends the next few hours in meetings with other faculty members to discuss the next stage of her research, and when she meets you in her office later that day, she's exhausted but triumphant.
Listen, I have achieved a landmark of regenerative physimancy, and I will never have to want for funding, or time, or research to complete my work.
Rue collapses into a sack chair and takes off her glasses.
Oh, and apparently I've been granted an extremely high faculty rank and a ludicrously large stipend, so the champagne will be on me.
You laugh at Rue's nonchalance and surround her in a huge hug she as promptly drifts off to sleep. A few days later, you're in another crowd, this time at the dojo. The entire building is packed to watch the first martial arts tournament of the year. You manage to get a seat close to the front and watch several dozen rounds in open-handed competitions. But what you're really waiting for is a sword competition. Near the evening, the firing ring is cleared and the sword fighters are introduced. There are only 10 of them, and you can easily spot Izagi among them. All the competitors wear metal chest armor and helmets with wire mesh over their face, but none of them are using training swords. Every single one is carrying a real blade. Strikes to legs are declared to be banned, but everything else is fair game. Several faculty are on standby to deal with wounds, and it makes you incredibly nervous. The first few cuts are relatively bloodless. The book compares striking the chest and head, but the third pair are ruthless, both of them with large gashes on their arms, and the duel ends with one of their hands being severed. The duel is quickly stopped, the bleeding is quenched, and the blood is mopped up. But the sight of the hand falling and the sword clattering to the floor makes you terrified of what will happen to Izagi. Finally, it's her turn. You can tell which competitor is Izagi because the long hair is streaming out of the back of her helmet. Izagi bows to her opponents, gracefully unsheathes her sword, and takes up her stance. Her opponent mirrors her, and the referee rings a small bell. You watch Izagi advance slowly in the balls of her feet, her sword held in front of her at about waist height. Her opponent closes the distance and raises her sword over their head. But Izagi doesn't react. The sword comes down, but Izagi sidesteps and goes for a stab, which barely misses. The two go back and forth for almost a minute, slashing, dodging, and blocking, until Izagi rushes her opponent with an overhead strike. Her opponent raises their sword sideways to block, and you feel their mistake in your gut. Izagi's sword slides after her opponent's blade, and you see her body begin to twist. There's a swirl of dark hair, and you know it's over. There's a sharp ring as her sword strikes her enemy's armor in the side, making them reel back. A broken piece of armor falls to the floor with a clang, and the referee steps in immediately. Izagi sheathes her sword in that peculiar rope way you've seen before, then bows to her opponent. The referee raises her arm and shouts her name, and the crowd cheers. Alright, Izagi, let's go. You jump to your feet and clap for her, then notice her appearing through the crowd. You stretch as tall as you can and wave. Izagi spots you and waves back as she takes off her helmet, revealing a huge smile. A few days after the tournament, you finally hear from Lisa where Tenza's doing a service to the school. Both of you go to the lecture building in the evening and when he's supposed to be there. You find him on his knees in a battered school uniform with a bucket of soapy water and a brush. He's scrubbing a hallway by candlelight. Well, looks like your talents have finally been recognized, huh? Tenza looks up from the floor and immediately scowls. I mean, both of you would show up. Gutter trash and the gutter whore. Lise cups her ear and leans closer to Tenza, furrowing her brows.
Huh, I don't know. You're the one on his knees, and oh, it's kind of hard to hear from all the way down there.
You crouch down next to him and smile viciously. You know, I did a lot of odd jobs in Senkaku, but I never scrubbed floors. That was a house servant's job. They were always the pampered, weak ones. Tenza tries to shake some of the water off his brush and throw it in your face. All you get is a light misting. Oh, careful with that. You got a third demerit, you say goodbye to Itzon. Fuck you! Both of you! Make your jokes, but I'm never getting kicked out of here. I could get the both of you and get off in a heartbeat. You reach out your right hand and brush Tenza's hair away from his face. Oh, look out, someone's getting a little cranky. Well, if you don't cry, you can always wipe it up with your little brush, huh? Tenza grabs her arm in a vice grip and squeezes. His voice becomes low and his eyes get wide. You can laugh at me now, but I'm going to be laughing when they lower your rotted, frosting corpses into graves. Or hell, I might be the one burying you. You stare into Tenza's eyes and grin. You got it mixed up. I'm the grave digger, remember? You don't sully your hands with that kind of stuff. I'll sully my hands to your fucking blood when I snap your neck, Uzo. I'll let you off too easy. Go for it. I got a witness here who'll say you attacked me, and then what? Tenza looks past at you at Lee's. I'm gonna kind of find you when I'm done with this. Maybe not this month or the next one, but soon. And now, getting shit-faced and punching someone is only worth 2 demerits and some time off with a bucket. Maybe I'll give it a try. You don't have to come looking for me at all. Tenza grits his teeth and stands up, still holding her arm. I kicked your ass once. And I think that was one too many. Oops, let me try it again. And I think that was one too many. Easy now, big guy. You're making my friend nervous. You pry Tenza's hand off your arm, and he looks down at your hand. What the hell is that? You look down at your arm and see some of your tattoo notes appearing on your skin. Don't worry about it. Just make sure these floors are clean by the time I get back. Got it? Good lad. You reach into her pocket and flip in the coin, which falls to the ground with a clink. Lise walks up beside you and puts a hand on Tenza's chest.
Know what, Tenza? Now that I know you're cleaning up the building, I'm gonna let everyone know that I've come up with a little game. Whoever can leave a bag of shit in the strangest place wins. Betting someone can get up into the rafters or something. Either way, happy hunting.
Lise leads you away from by your arm while laughing raucously to herself. As you round the corner, your Tenza throws a brush against the floor. 2 days after seeing Tenza, you get back your exam score from Advanced Anatomy. Nearly perfect. As soon as you find out, you head straight to Rue's office to tell her the news. You find her in her private quarters, arm deep in a mass of pale flesh piled in her operating table. You know she's wearing long, black gloves that reach up to her shoulders. Hey Rue, just got back from my exam results. Almost a perfect score. Rue lifts her hand and flashes a forced smile.
Oh, that's fantastic. We have to, celebrate. But not right now. I'm in the middle of a little cleanup. Don't come any closer, actually.
What happened?
It seems my modifications due to the flesh I create have some trouble regulating its growth. It wants to keep growing until it exhausts itself. Something in the enchantment is causing it to overrun homeostasis. It's a little annoying.
Do you want some help?
No, it's a little unstable right now. If it touches your skin, it might try to graft itself onto you.
Oh, I see. You take a step back and stand there awkwardly. Rue grunts and glances up at you.
The Academy Spring Festival is coming up soon, though. Maybe we can celebrate then?
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. When is that? Rue wrestles against the mound of flesh, which rises and twists under her grip.
In 4 or 5 days, I think. It goes for, 3 days.
You sure you don't need help?
No, it's just muscle contractions, spasms. I just need to freeze it so it goes dormant.
Rue lifts up the pile of flesh and walks quickly to the bathroom. You hear a splash and the cracking of ice, and Rue walks out again. She sighs, takes off her gloves, and wipes her forehead. She seems slightly out of breath.
Congrats on the exam! That course is notoriously difficult, but I've heard that many had to repeat it.
Thanks. I'll go take a load off and tell my friends.
Sounds good. I'm gonna take a nap. See you next week. Regular time?
Yeah, definitely. Soon after we had mentioned it, you start seeing students clearing snow across campus to make room for the festival. Tents and stands begin popping up across the main quad, and stoves start being hauled out to heat them. After a few days, the entire main quad of Itzon Academy is divided into a grid of little shops advertising food, miniature theaters for Physimancy demonstrations and plays, and tents where students can compete against each other in competitions. When your usual study session with Lee's rolls around, your head is spinning with ideas for what to see. And though you're tired from a full day of studying lectures, you feel excitement welling up inside you. After talking over, Lee's comes up with an idea. She's been looking for an opportunity to return the stolen head to the Garden of Flesh. And since most of the staff and students will be preoccupied with the festival, it's a perfect time to sneak back into the building. At least, according to her.
It'll be quick and easy. You won't even have to come in with me. After it's finished, you and me can wander around the festival and see what we can find.
You sigh. You'd really hoped you could just relax and enjoy spending time with Louise, but it always seems like something comes up and makes it more complicated.
It better be quick and easy, because I'm not gonna wait outside for you for 2 hours and miss the festival.
And if you get caught...
Yeah, we're total strangers. I did this all on my own.
The evening the festival debuts, you meet Lise at the edge of the quad. Both of you are wrapped in your winter outfits, and the sun is already disappearing behind the buildings.
Hey you, cold enough for ya?
Almost. Once my eyebrows freeze, then I'll be satisfied.
You ready for a little reverse heist?
I mean, all I'm doing is standing outside the window this time. You're the one breaking and entering.
Yeah, but it's your job to smooth talking when that comes along, remember?
Yeah, I remember. Got a whole story made up. If that doesn't work, then I'll just lead them away from the window with some other bullshit. Lise grins and pats you on the shoulder.
You're a real peach. My partner in crime.
As soon as the light fades from the campus, you and Lise make your way over to the Garden of Flesh building. Keep a lookout while Lise forces the window open, and then you shut it behind her as soon as she climbs inside. You look toward the festival, savoring the faint scent of pastries and fried food. There are already thousands of lanterns being lit among the shops and stalls, illuminating the snow. After about 10 minutes, you start to feel apprehension build in your gut. According to Lise, the whole operation was only going to take 4 or 5 minutes. The plan was for Lise to leave the head at the base of the model, then come straight back. You sigh and look up and down the campus, trying to find something to keep busy. You try to count the number of tents set up for the festival, but give up after 65. You look toward the entrance to the building and freeze. A dark shape is standing on the steps near the entry doors, partly illuminated by the lamps outside the building. You can't tell if they're looking at you, but it's definitely a person. You slowly look away off toward the festival again. Behind you, you hear a soft knocking on the window. Take a step back, so you're pressed against the wall. You look through the glass in the corner of your eye and see Lise. She's frantically motioning upward with both thumbs to raise the window, and you slowly shake your head, keeping your eyes on the dark figure. You hear the window spring grind as Lise lifts it an inch or two.
Uso! At the window! There's someone coming!
You try to speak quietly without moving your lips. There's someone out here too, watching me.
Lead them away! I'll hide and come back.
You start walking toward the person on the steps, trying to appear casual. As you come closer, you realize it's a faculty member. He looks about 40, has short blonde hair, and is holding a large black carrying case. Evening. Have you seen the guy with the red coat around here? I'm waiting for him. The faculty member shakes his head. Sorry, I haven't. The man turns around and walks back inside the building. He closes the door behind him with a thud, leaving you alone on the steps. You immediately walk back to the window, but as soon as you get halfway there, you see Elise crawl out of it. You jog over to her and help her close the window, which makes a slight metallic screech as it slides into place.
Let's go.
You and Elise start striding across the snow to the festival. Elise seems out of breath, but you don't want to slow down before you can melt in the crowds. You look back toward the building's entrance and see that one of the doors is open, but you can't make out anyone standing at the threshold. You make it to the edge of the festival and begin walking down on one of the avenues between the stalls. Alright, we made it. You look around and force yourself to breathe slower, trying to look normal. You see people selling elaborate dresses and magical little trinkets that give out panoplies of light. I'm probably gonna have to search that up later. And even a place selling silver-clad surgical tools made from bone. Bone. Colorful tapestries faded by rain and wind hang. Rain and wind hang overhead, turning the festival into a dim series of tunnels illuminated by candles and filled with sweet, appetizing smells. You see gold statuettes glint on tables, glimpse tents full of seated people entranced by illusions, and watch the excited, half-inebriated faces of your fellow students pass. You and Lise weave your way through the crowd, and after a while, Lise seems to relax. She starts pointing at things like catch your eye, animal masks made from the taxidermied heads of real animals, decks of tarot cards whose painted figures dance when held, and more.
Wow, they really go all out, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Let's go deeper. I want to see which performers showed up.
Finally, you come to a large octagonal tent that's almost 15 feet tall. Lise pushes back the flap, and you see that the entire tent is filled with people sitting on benches or standing near the edges. Everyone is craning their necks to see the performers, but when you squint and try to look through the crowd, you glimpse flashes of moons and thick red ribbons. You raise your eyes to the roof of the tent and spot several long pieces of scarlet ribbon hanging down from the ceiling. What is this?
Oh, silk aerialists. Let's get closer.
You follow Lise as she squeezes and elbows her way to the front of the crowd, muttering apologies as you go. The tent smells faintly like sweet but mixed with exotic perfumes. Finally, you make it close to the front and see the performers. Each one is suspended from the ceiling, their limbs partly wrapped in scarlet fabric hanging from above. You watch wide-eyed as they hover above the ground, effortlessly cartwheeling and twisting as if they're underwater. Both are wearing elaborate gilded masks, but the rest of their bodies are only hidden by the silk. As they dance through the air, the fabric always seems to be on the verge of unraveling from their bodies, but it never does. Watching their choreography, you feel strange somehow, like you've entered a dream or realize you've been dreaming the whole time. You look at Lise, and she's similarly entranced. Soon the performers swing through the air, wrapping around one another like maypole, until their faces come close enough to kiss. You blink, and you're no longer in the tent. You're in the sky, drifting downward through the clouds. Below you can see the canvas of Itzon lit by hundreds of lights. It's beautiful, but as the ground rushes up to meet you, you feel a twinge of fear and full-blown panic. You hear a faint screaming, but you don't know where it's coming from. You look at the performers and they're falling with you, wheeling and dancing as they do. Watching their bodies and movements interweave, you feel a profound sense of calm. The screaming at the edge of your hearing fades, and you hear a quiet swell of distant music, as well as someone softly singing. 2 slow dancers, last one's out. 2 slow dancers, last one's out. The ground is close now, close enough for you to count the branches on the trees, but you just watch it come. It's just a dream. It's all just a dream. And as soon as I hit the ground, I'll wake up. The snow and cobblestone speed toward you, and you feel your heart beat harder. Fear creeps back into you as you imagine your head splitting open on the hard, frozen ground. I'll never really die. Don't let this be real. This isn't real. It can't be real. You close your eyes and open your mouth to scream just as you hit the ground, and to your surprise you hear a chorus of other screams join yours. You open your eyes and find yourself back in the tent, surrounded by dozens of people shaking their hands and gripping one another. The terror turns to nervous laughter, then raucous shrieks of joy. You look over and see Lise gripping your shoulder with white knuckles. Her eyes are wide and her face is plastered with a frozen grin. That's Lise, my bad.
That was incredible.
She gives a short, joyous shriek and lets go of you, shaking her fists up and down from excitement.
Wow, I really thought I was falling. It was so realistic, so they must be kinetomancers.
You look down the acrobats, wheezing themselves out of silk and dropping down to the ground. They take out their masks and bow to the crowd, beaming through a thin sheen of sweat. Lise rifles through her coat and finds her purse, then runs up and presses 2 gold coins in their hands. They smile and Lise comes back with a big smile on her face.
Wanna do it again?
You chuckle nervously. I think if I did that again I'd have a heart attack. Plus, I'm hungry. Let's get some food.
Oh, fine.
You and Lise head out of the tent and go in search of food. You find a couple of places selling grilled meat and exotic dishes, but Lise only seems interested in sweets. Let's take a good look at the background. Let's see, we got some pottery, some vases, some flowers, some tomes. Winter Festival though sounds pretty fun though.
We can get that other stuff anytime. You just have to put in requests at the cafeteria and pay a little extra. But the chocolates and pastries, they are the rare ones. The pastries are only good for a day, and the candies are only made in weird foreign places.
You and Lise end up buying a couple small boxes of candies and a few paper sleeves of pastries. Despite looking for something hearty, you have to admit they're pretty good. However, most of the stalls Lise visits are already sold out. The crowds seem to be getting denser. It gets so bad that Lise has to shout over the din just to talk to you.
It's getting crowded in here. Wanna take a walk around campus, then come back when it's quieter?
Yeah, good idea. You and Lise find your way out of festival and back onto Snowy Quad. The lamps across campus have been lit, bathing the pathways in the warm glow. Where do you want to walk?
I don't know. I'll follow you.
You start to walk around toward the river, trudging through the snow until you find a cobblestone path. Lise loops an arm around yours and sighs. I like this backland. The river looks pretty nice in the nighttime. It's quite nice.
I love crowds and excitement and all that, but that was a bit much.
Yeah, kinda ruins the fun when you can barely move.
How about those acrobats though? That was really wild.
Yeah, sometimes I forget people can weave magic with only their bodies.
Kinda makes us look boring, with our written enchantments and tattoos. We're over here writing out spells and they're just dancing theirs.
I'm not flexible enough to be a kinetomancer. Hell, I barely know how to dance.
Speak here for yourself. Maybe I'll try to learn some basic movements. There's too many things I want to do and not enough time to master it all. But I guess that's why we're here, right? To get all the time we need.
Yeah.
I heard some immortality scholars plan to be amazing artists or athletes or something, and they get bored of their century because they perfected their craft. I don't see myself ever getting bored from performing, but who knows?
think it'll go in cycles. You get bored of something, move on to something else, and then come back to the thing you left behind and remember why you love it. At least that's how I think it'll go. Some things your love for them can dull, but it never goes away entirely. Lise walks next to you in silence for a while, looking out at the snowy campus.
I think I've asked you before, but what are you going to do with your immortality?
You exhale and shrug. Maybe plant a forest, then bend old saplings at weird angles so the trees grow up crooked. Lise laughs and slaps her arm.
No, you won't. You would get bored just watching trees grow.
Probably. I don't know. Guess I'll figure it out when I get there. I never really let myself think too far into the future because I'm so used to focusing on surviving this week, this month, this year. It'll be strange when I got everything I want. I don't even know what I want.
Well, you'd better figure it out. Otherwise you'll get to the end of the race and realize the prize is more races.
Words of wisdom from Lise. Lise grins at you, and you see a snowflake land on her nose. You raise your eyes to the darkened skies and see more drifting down. Oh, it's snowing.
Oh, I can catch one with my tongue. Just watch.
You watch Elise stick out her tongue, but after a few seconds you realize that this isn't a little flurry. It's a downpour. Soon you can barely see 20 feet ahead of you, and the wind is nearly blowing you over.
Damn, it got nasty. We gotta get back to the campus.
You look back up the path, but it's barely visible. Too late. You realize you and Lise are probably a mile from the festival. It would be hell to walk back now. However, an idea pops into your head. Too far. Come on, follow me. I know a place. You lead Lise farther down the path, then help her climb down one of the riverbanks. You walk together across the frozen ice, and squint through the snow to try and spot what you're looking for. After several miserable freezing minutes, you spot it, the looming dark shape of a yurt. You realize there are taller branches stacked against the outside of it, like someone tried to reinforce the sides. You run across the snow-covered rocks in the final flap, and then tie the knot, keeping it closed. You motion for Lise to get inside, and follow her in. The interior of the yurt is dark and freezing. We can make out the shape of a bundle of kindling neatly wrapped in twine, and the ring of rocks that forms the central fire pit. Lise sits down and runs a hand over the thick, wool-stuffed mat that acts as the yurt's flooring. She raises an eyebrow and looks over at you.
How did you know this was here? Whose is it?
It's Agi's. She has a fascination with camping, so I helped her set up during the winter break. Lise raises her eyebrows.
Aha! So you went camping together.
No, just helped her set up. She was the one dead set on sleeping out here. Lise looks at you skeptically and leans back in her hands, propping herself up.
I see. You sure you didn't lure me out here to put at me?
You're the one who wanted to take a walk. I was just following my feet.
Sure.
Lise gives you a smirk and rubs her mittens together.
Well, this is better than dying outside, but I feel like I'm gonna still get hypothermia in here.
Let me get the fire started. The kindling is still dry. You crouch over the fire pit and start setting up the log and twigs. You can see Izaki's precision in the cuts of wood. Each one is chopped so that they can lean against one another. Soon you have a weak little blaze going in the center of the yurt. You reach up to the roof and open the little ceiling flap to let the smoke out, then sit down next to Lise.
Izai's kind of pretty in a British kind of way, isn't she?
I guess so. I haven't really thought of her that way. Lise grunts and wraps her arms around her knees. She looks at the flames and chuckles a little.
Before I got to Itzon, I went to a little private school. On the first day, I heard that the boys there had made a list. Supposedly it was a list of all the girls in the school, ranked from prettiest to ugliest. Some girls said they saw a list, but I never did. The whole time I went there, I wondered what my ranking was. I'd look at other girls and say, I'm higher than her. But then, when I finished, I did some favors for a few guys to get a look at the list, and they laughed at me. They said there was no list. It was just a rumor.
Lise keeps her eyes on the fire. You wrap an arm around her waist, drawing her closer. Does that still bother you?
Yeah, less now, but then.
She looks over at you and puts her hand on your knee.
Well, I guess I don't really need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Lise trails off. The fire starts to catch the outer logs, and you feel the heat soaking through your coat. You take it off, followed by your scarf and boots. Lise does the same, leaving her winter outfit in the pile next to her. She shifts closer to you and warms her hands near the fire, and rubs them together and looks at you. She grins, leans over and kisses you on the cheek. You smile and kiss the tip of her nose, which makes her wrinkle it.
Don't kiss me on the nose. Only children and dogs get kissed on the nose.
Alright, where do you want me to kiss you?
Good question. Well, seeing as we're going to be stuck here for a while.
Lise begins to unbutton her shirt, her eyes locked on yours. She gives you a mischievous smile and raises her eyebrows, as if asking a question. You get a nervous chuckle and look around the yurt. Your eyes fall on a pile of blankets pressed against the wall. Well, if you're thinking of that, we should put down the blankets so we don't mess up Izagi's nice yurt, right?
I guess, since she's putting us up for the night.
You spread one of the blankets on the padded floor, and Lise seats herself on top of it. You get on next, walking on your knees. Lise giggles and starts helping you unbutton your shirt. And, unfortunately, I will have to stop here. We have run out of time. That music's so good. Anyways, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like, comment, and maybe subscribe for more if you haven't already. And if you want to watch other visual novels, please check my channel down below. And if you are subscribed, please hit that bell button. It will help me a lot. Thank you, and take care.